I'm Ken Holloway and I'm your golf coach buddy. Thanks for tuning in. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Tiger Woods and what it's going to take for him to become the undisputed greatest golfer of all time. So we're going to do the video in two parts. The first part we're going to be talking about the majors, and then the second part's going to be devoted to Tiger and the 7 things that he needs to have in order to beat Jack's record at the majors. So settle in, we're going to have a lot of fun with it. And I just wanted to mention that I'm getting my numbers from Wikipedia, and I think I've got them all right, but if I have a mistake, it's going to be a minor mistake and not a major mistake. And the second thing I want to mention is if your favorite golfer is not on my list here, don't shoot me. These are just some of the names I want to talk about to illustrate the ideas about what it takes to win at the majors. So please post all your questions and comments below. I read all of them. And I look forward to hearing from you, and I'd love to get your feedback on this. And let me say one other thing too real quick about being disputed and undisputed. There's a lot of people that believe already that Tiger is the greatest golfer of all time, and you're free to believe that. I'm a huge fan of Tiger. I've been a fan of his for a long time, and I'm rooting for Tiger to beat Jack's record at the majors so that he can become the undisputed greatest golfer of all time. That's what this video is all about. So if you share my sentiment on that, you're going to enjoy the video. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. All right, so in the modern era, the 4 majors are the US Open, the Masters, the British Open, and the PGA Championship. And only 5 golfers have won all of them. And we're going to save that for last. And let's see. So in the whole history in the modern era, only 232 people have won at least one of the majors. And about 2/3 of them have only won once. So it's really hard to win a major. I did a video series about the 8 games of golf, and in order to win a major, you have to have all 8 games of your golf in the bag. If you want to find out more information on that, check on the link above for the 8 games of golf. It's free, it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of content in there that'll be really helpful for you. So only about 86 people have won more than one major, and I don't want to slight anybody that only won once, but I want to talk about it because it shows you how hard it is to win at all. And so we'll start over here on this list of names. And these golfers right here, they're big celebrities. They have distinguished careers. They've been around for a long time. They got star power. You can't say enough good things about them, but they've only won one major. And I think that's really surprising, especially Jim Furyk, Justin Leonard, David Duval. They're all great golfers, but they've only won once, and that just shows you how hard it is. And to make the point even further, this list here is really telling because I almost find it hard to believe these guys only won once. So Davis Love, the third, I've got his book here. He was born with a golf club in his hand. His mom was an avid golfer. His dad was a famous golfer, studied directly with Harvey Penick. And Davis Love is a great golfer in his own right. He's tall, he's got a beautiful swing, he's got tons of length, he's got great balance, great timing, great everything really. And he teed it up in the majors over 100 times, and he only won once. So, that's not a bet you'd want to bet that if you set up one of the greatest golfers of all time, 100 entries and he only wins once, that would suck. Same thing with Freddie Couples. He teed it up 104 times. And Tom Kite, he's another legendary golfer who studied directly with Harvey Penick. And he was twice the leading money winner on tour. He's a Hall of Famer. A living legend, really, and he teed it up over 109 times, and he only won one major once. So that just shows you how hard it is. So a lot of golfers have won more than once, but they didn't win the career Grand Slam. So we'll talk about a few of those right now. So Nick Faldo, he's won 6 majors, but he didn't win the career Grand Slam. And neither did Lee Trevino. He's won a ton of golf tournaments. He's a living legend, but he was never able to win the Masters, which is the same as Walter Hagen. Walter Hagen never won the Masters. And we have Bernhard Langer, who he's always been a great golfer, and now as a senior, he's dominating the senior field. He just seems to be winning everything. But back in the day, he won 2 Masters, but he never won the US Open or the British Open. And then we have Phil Mickelson. Now, Phil is a living legend. He's got a legendary career. He's a Hall of Famer. Everyone up here is in the Hall of Fame. But of course, he's never won the US Open. He's come in second 6 times. I would love to see Phil win the US Open, but I wouldn't bet on it. At the same time, I wouldn't bet against it. Last year, he missed the cut by 1. So I'm going to root for Phil as long as he's willing to tee it up. I'd love to watch him win. Greg Norman. So Greg Norman is a living legend, and he won the British Open twice. So despite the fact that he's had a legendary career and he's still going strong, and he's a major celebrity, he's actually never won a major in the United States. So that's pretty profound. Tom Watson is a living legend, no doubt about that. I've got Tom Watson's book here, and this is a really great book, by the way. And he's had a legendary career, but he was never able to win the PGA, which is the same as Arnold Palmer. And then there's Sam Snead. So he's won 7 majors, but he never won the US Open, and that's really significant for many reasons. But before I get into that, I want to point out that he has set the record for most wins on the PGA Tour at 82 events, and he's tied with Tiger Woods. So if Tiger wins even one more event, he's going to beat Sam's record. But that record was set back in 1965, so it stood for almost 60 years, and it still stands. So that's an amazing record. So Sam Snead never won the US Open. He tried, I think, over 30 times to enter that tournament and never won it. And it's pretty significant because if it weren't for Sam Snead, we probably never would have heard of Dr. Bob Rotella. And he's a famous mental game coach. He's made a major contribution to the game of golf, and he's written several great books. I highly recommend his work. I'm a big fan. And before Dr. Rotella, according to Butch Harmon, back in the day, there was only one mental game coach, and it was called Booze. Dr. Jim Beam, I think it was. So that was how we dealt in the mental game back in the old days. So slamming Sammy Snead, one of the greatest golfers has ever lived, but couldn't win the career Grand Slam. Next up, we're going to talk about Arnold Palmer, the king. Now, he's my favorite golfer of all time. I love everything about his career, his contributions to golf, and his career. Even legendary isn't a strong enough word to describe Arnold Palmer and everything that he contributed to the game. But despite all the great things you could say about Arnold Palmer, he didn't win the career Grand Slam. So he wasn't able to win the PGA championship, and he tried and tried and tried for over 30 or 40 years. And Walter Hagen, he won 11 majors, so he's third on the list actually in terms of how many Masters or majors are won. But Walter Hagen was not able to win the Masters, and he tried several times, including the very first run back in 1934. So Walter Hagen was just like Arnold Palmer. He elevated the game. He made it more popular. He attracted more sponsors and created bigger prize money. And Walter Hagen should be credited for helping create the Professional Golfers Tour and make it lucrative and respectable. So he was the first millionaire golfer, and he's always going to be famous for being legendary. But even Walter Hagen couldn't win the career Grand Slam. So this is just a short list. It just shows you between all the guys that only won once and the people that have had legendary careers or they're still living legends, they were not able to win the career Grand Slam. So that brings us down to these last 5 guys here. And of course, Gene Sarazen and Ben Hogan are no longer with us. Ben Hogan's really significant, of course, because Tiger Woods thinks so highly of him that he owned his swing. And Ben Hogan won in 1953 what they called the Triple Crown. So he won the Masters and the Masters and the US Open and the British Open in 1953. And what's really unique about that is it's the only year he went to the British Open. So he entered it once and he won and he never went back. And in 1953, it wasn't possible to win all 4 majors because the British Open and the PGA were at the same time. Okay, we're down to 3 names on the list, so that brings us to Gary Player. Now, he's won 9 majors, and he's won the career Grand Slam. In fact, he's the only international player to have won the career Grand Slam. And they call him the Black Knight. He's a great guy. He's a gentleman's gentleman, a hell of a guy, a great golfer, ambassador of the sport. And he was one of the first people on tour to showcase the importance of physical fitness and staying in good shape. So I can't say enough good things about Gary Player. And then there were 2, and that's what this video is all about, which is Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus. Now, there was only the 5 people that won the career Grand Slam, which means they won each of the 4 majors at least once, but none of them won them all twice. But Tiger Woods and Jack have won them all 3 times. So they are truly in a class by themselves. And of course, Jack Nicklaus is on top. So I want to go back to a point that I made earlier, which is a lot of people think that Tiger Woods is the greatest golfer of all time. And I'm not going to argue with them. If that's what they believe, they're certainly free to believe that. I wouldn't argue with them. Maybe he is the greatest golfer of all time. But where we get into the sticking point is that people want to say he's the undisputed greatest golfer of all time, and that's simply not true. Because as long as something is disputed, then it's certainly not undisputed. Okay, it's just an impossibility. So Tiger Woods is not the undisputed greatest golfer of all time, and what stands in the way of that is the record of wins at the majors. So Jack Nicklaus has won 18 majors, and Tiger has won 15. So in order for Tiger to beat Jack, Tiger has to win 4 more majors. And that's what the second part of the video is all about. So we're going to get into all the specifics about it, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. We're going to talk about the 7 things Tiger has to have in order to beat Jack's record. And that's going to close out part 1 of the video. So thanks for watching. Again, please put your questions and comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to stay tuned for part 2, because that's when we're going to get into everything you need to know about Tiger. So I'll close out for now. I'm Ken Holloway, and I'm your golf coach buddy. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.